Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Loot. And this is a new comedy series from Apple TV Plus, starring Maya Rudolph, who plays Molly Novak, the now divorced wife of a tech billionaire who winds up getting $87 billion in her settlement, and decides to start working for a foundation that she owns, and developing relationships with the whole crew and everything. And this show was a bit clunky at the start. The first couple episodes, I'm like, oh, this is fine. It's watchable. Maya Rudolph's character, Maya Rudolph is so great in this show. This really gives her a chance to really show off her comedic chops. But like at the beginning, she was so unlikable from that perspective of like, this is supposed to be your protagonist. And like you have Joel Kim Booster, who plays Nicholas, her like confidant. They're so hard to like at the beginning that it makes those first couple episodes hard to process. But as she starts opening up and showing more dimensions and layers and really connecting with these people that work at her foundation, this becomes a really enjoyable show, and it really lives off of the dynamics of the characters. You have Maya Rudolph, like I mentioned, but MJ Rodriguez, who big from Pose, gets a chance here as Sophia, who's the one who really like runs the day-to-day of this foundation, and her dynamics with Maya Rudolph's character are tense, and you really enjoy seeing that barrier between them slowly peeling back and them becoming like friends. And Sophia still likes to have a bit of a distance even towards the end of the season. You get to see Nicholas grow as a person, and he develops such a great relationship with Howard, played by Ron Funches, who is so hilarious in this show. He is so quirky and offbeat, and he's definitely one of my favorite characters. He might be my favorite character on the whole show. You have Nat Faxon, who plays Arthur, who's a guy at this foundation who has the hots for Molly, and he's just like some white dude. He just seems like such a nice guy, and there's not a whole lot of depth. Like there's not a whole lot of interesting dynamics to him. Like he's a pretty flat, generic kind of character who's self-aware of stereotypes of white people and white men and stuff like that. But he's a fun time, and you have some other threads throughout. Like Adam Scott is so great as John Novak, her ex-husband, who periodically pops up, does mind games, and gets involved. And they have a bit of a roller coaster of a relationship, to say the least. And by the end of this season, you've seen Molly go through like this weird dynamic with her ex, and she develops a relationship with this foreign billionaire, and they have their relationships. But really, when it comes down to it, this show really works so well because of the core dynamic between these members of this foundation, and then throwing in Molly and Nicholas there. It's just such an enjoyable and engaging show towards the end. It really found its stride towards the end of this first season, and leaves two big kinds of elements to look forward to seeing how they play out in the next season. There's a lot of mystery into exactly what the hell happened at the end of this last episode, and then also professionally where things are going to take Molly and this crew is very intriguing with the promise that she makes. But in general, this is a fun and enjoyable show. I think it's worth checking out. It's 10 episodes, half-hour episodes. You could get through it pretty quickly. But those are my thoughts on Loot Season 1. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.